The year is 1932, and this Packard could be had at your local Packard dealer. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that digs the cars that never get talked about. We talk about the history, specs, design. Most importantly, we show what these cars are like. If that sounds like a channel of interest, something that you would totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. 1932 Packard was broken down into 4 models. You had the Light 8, followed by the Standard 8, Deluxe 8, and Twin 6. Packard launched an all-new model in 1932, an effort for Packard to appeal to a mid-priced market. Packard would also introduce a new Twin 6. The Light 8 was only available in 1932, was canceled after 1932 because of high production costs, but Packard would keep the Twin 6, later called the 12, around as their halo car until 1939. Packard offered the Standard 8 from 1924 through 1936. It first appeared as the single 8 in 1924. In 1928, Packard would offer different levels of 8. In 1932, Packard Standard 8 could be had in bodies such as, but not limited to, a sedan, phaeton, sports phaeton, touring, coupe, roadster coupe, club sedan, limo, convertible Victoria, convertible sedan. Get this, Packard offered at no cost 4-speed synchromesh gearbox. You just had to check the box if you wanted it. Packard also offered ride control, which offered 3 ride positions: soft, medium, and firm. The valve controls the flow of hydraulic fluid within each shock. Automatic chassis lubrication as well as shatterproof glass. Let's talk specs. 199 inches long, 71.9 inches wide, 70.7 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 129.5 inches. It weighs around 4,500 pounds. Price around $2,800, which would be equivalent to you spending $63,034.13 in the year 2024. Total 1932 Packard production was 16,064 units. Moving on to engine. Only one engine on offer for this car. 320 cubic inch displacement, flathead inline 8, 5.2 liters. It's good for 110 horsepower, 3,200 RPM, and estimated 190 pound-feet, or 257 newton meters at around 1,800 RPM, with a bore of 3.2 inches and a stroke of 5 inches. Compression 8-to-1, 9 main bearings.
Let's talk styling on this gorgeous car. If you don't know me, I'm a huge Packard enthusiast. The fenders have this slight bead around it. But just look at how awesome that flow is into the running board. Beautiful Packard spoke wheels. This one's on bias tires, tube type 7.0019. Has fender marker lights. Headlights are absolutely massive. Here's my hand for reference. My hand is 7.5 inches long. It's got dual horns for each side, one for each side. This massive bar that the lights sit on. It also gives the fender some structural rigidity. Bumpers are pretty basic, and that's how they're mounted. What's interesting, though, is this grille isn't really connected to the radiator shell itself. It sticks out maybe 1.5 inches. Look at that mascot. Look at how much detail there is. Cars don't even put hood ornaments on cars anymore. That's like an art piece within itself. This car has manual louvers on the side. So if it's a hot day, you can open these and bring in more air to cool off the engine. I absolutely love the hood profiles on Packards. They're not straight. They got all kinds of different design elements in them. Massive cowl vent. This one has windshield wipers at the top because the windshield can crank out. This is a footwell vent, which works similar to like a cowl vent, but it just lets more air in. This one has a toolbox in it. These are storage cubbies. One's like a dark maroon color with graphite gray accents. And I love how these two colors accent one another. Side mirrors are mounted to the door. This car does have drip rails. Run the length of the cabin. The running boards are really wide up here. I wear size 12 shoe, and my shoe fits on the running board up here just perfect. Does taper in the back. That's what my size 12 shoe looks like on the running board back here. The rear fenders have a bead, just like the front fenders. It kicks out the back. Gas tank, gas fillers on the driver's side, tail lights, as well as bumpers. Which the rear bumper has a way more sophisticated design than the front bumper. This one has a Continental kit spare tire at the back. As well as trunk. It's a pretty good sized trunk, all things considered. Getting inside, but before we do, just look at how Art Deco this door handle is. This door is all framed out. Look how thick that is. The door opens 90 degrees to allow plenty of access into the cabin. Isn't an armrest on the door panel itself, which feels like a broadcloth. You could use this as an armrest. Door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, which operates like this. I absolutely love the wood around the window seal. Coming down inside the pedal box down here. This is the footwell vent. And there's a screen in here to protect you from getting any bugs inside, which is always a nice feature. Clutch, brake, gas pedal, starter button up there, place to put your foot. So notice how flat the floor is. Just take a look at this interior. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like.
Buttons, switches, and knobs. Starting on the left and moving right. I believe these two buttons are for the headlights and accessory lights and or fender lights on this car. Speedometer with odometer and tripometer. Coolant temperature, which gives you ranges. Cold, driving range, hot. Choke, amp meter, gasoline gauge, oil pressure, lighter, clock. Notice the key is all the way on the passenger side. Interesting.
Up above, there aren't any sun visors, but this is the control the windshield wipers. Rear view mirror there, which is tinted. So another windshield wiper over there. I'm not sure if there's, I think there's a motor, missing a motor. All right, the crotch test. This one is in my lap. It is very tight for me. I mean, I fit barely. I'm 6'2". I push this clutch down just for giggles. When I release the clutch, my leg is hitting off the steering wheel. So if you're 6'2" and you're looking to buy this car, you might fit if you're smaller than me. I wear size 36 pants. So everybody's built differently. The windshield does open. You just flip this up like that. And there's one on this side. You'd flip that up as well. And then you can move it to the desired position. This is the best air conditioning system that you can have. It's almost like riding a bicycle with that open. There is an ashtray here as well. And this is a cigarette lighter. Cigar. This is a cigar lighter. Really cool thing about Packards, they have his and hers glove boxes. So this is a glove box, as well as this is a glove box. And we might as well do the glove box test. There's our test subject. Hand for reference. And that's why I like showing this, because you would never know that cabinet or that glove box, you would never know that this glove box is as deep as this one is. And it shuts. The only thing is it doesn't lock. And I show this because if you wanted to buy one of these cars and drive it to work, this glove box is made of metal. It's not plastic. It's made of steel. You could put ice packs in it and keep your lunch in it. The other thing people don't really show is how hard it is getting out of these cars. Because the body of the car extends as well as the seat. Like, if you're tall and you have big feet, it's a bit of a chore getting out. Because the opening is only that big. So you have to contort yourself in ways to get out of these cars. But then I saw this and I was like, oh yes, I can move the seat. The seat is all the way in the back position. It will move up, it won't move back. So that's a bit disappointing. And as you can see, this is all the space that you have. My 7.5 length hand here to show you that if you have big feet, it's difficult. Getting in the rear, notice these seats. You could call this a chair because you could take this out and it could be a chair. They're not hooked into anything, and they're kind of sort of on like a pivot bar to get in the back. So going to get in the passenger side, because I think the chair will stay in the upright position. It moves out of the way easier and it stays, which also gives you a better look at how this chair / seat operates. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It's like borderline. because of these pillars back here, it kind of gives it more of a cozy appearance, but it's bright up here. It's actually really nice. I really like it in here. I love the wood, the incorporation of the wood throughout. Very nice place to be. Behind the seat, there isn't really itself per se, but the wood continues around the window. And this is what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. Let's talk seat back profile. This is like a couch. It does dip down here in the back a little bit, as well as bulge out here in the center, but it's not bad. It's really comfortable, actually. Armrests on the seat itself, ashtray, as well as cigarette lighter. Windows do go down. Everything found on the driver's side is also found on the passenger side. Ashtray, cigarette lighter is missing. Armrest, windows do go down. They operate like this. There is a light switch here for the dome light in the center. This car doesn't have any coat hooks in the back. Knee space. I got enough space to put my fingers in between my knee and the seat. Before getting under the hood, I wanted to show you this. Other hidden compartment houses the 6-volt battery. Oh, this hood's pretty heavy. There it is, the beautiful Packard Inline 8. Updraft carburetor. Big canister there, that's an air cleaner.
On the positive side, absolutely beautiful car. I have another confession to make. Sometimes I get emotional when looking at these pre-war Packards because they were made in America. They were built to last using quality materials. It's from a world long gone. People used to build things with quality and they built them to last. Now we live in a time where everything is replaceable. It's built to break. This was built to be fixed. Compounded with the fact that these were not shared a lot of times. Some people would be like, get away from my car. And now all of them are being sold because everybody is kind of moving on. And it's just sad because a lot of people don't realize what quality cars are like. They've never been in a quality car. This is a quality car. These have such presence. His and her glove boxes. The camera fits in the glove box. Crank out windshield, cowl vents, as well as floor vents. The interior is a great place to be. With this era of Packard, well, with any era of Packard, really, it's about both inside presence as well as outside presence. Some cars do one or the other. Packards do both. And I have yet to drive one, but Packards, from what I've heard, they are totally balanced. Packard has great club support against it. There isn't much. If you're over 6 foot tall, you might not fit in this car. If you need a new engine, that might be an issue. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 3 scenarios today because 1932 was such an epic year for cars. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1932 Cadillac or 1932 Packard 8 or 1932 Lincoln? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, 1932 Auburn or 1932 Packard or 1932 Pierce Arrow. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the final scenario, 1932 Chrysler Imperial or 1932 Packard 8 or 1932 Marmon 8. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. That was a great song for this car. It was almost Would Ya, by ELO. So there's your hint. It's not that song. Thank you guys all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook, send me an email. I appreciate everything that you guys bring in the comments. I love the critiques. I love the information that you guys share. Most importantly, I love the information and stories that you share. You guys bring memories back when these cars were relevant, frankly. And I thank you for that. Thank you so much for making this a car community. Also, special thanks to Mark Chandler for giving me a lot of the advertisement pieces used in this episode. Until next time, toodaloo! Something shot right through me. My heart skipped a beat in time.